You're listening to The Girl Dad Show.
Welcome to Season 3 of The Girl Dad Show, where we explore the intersection of parenthood and entrepreneurial spirit. Join me and some incredible guests as we share tips and tricks for finding work-life balance and making a positive impact not only on the world, but also our families. Let's create a fulfilling life together. It's The Girl Dad Show, Season 3. Debbie, thank you so much for joining me on The Girl Dad Show.
Woo-hoo.
I'm so glad we finally made this work. It's been a labor of love getting this scheduled, but we got here. We did it.
We did it.
Let us jump right into it, if you don't mind. Why don't you go ahead and start by telling the listeners who you are and what you do for a living?
All right. Well, my name is Debbie Warner. I am the Senior Vice President and a Principal and Shareholder for MWM DesignGroup. We're a professional design services firm. We provide civil engineering, architecture, landscape, surveying, and permitting services.
Wow, that's amazing. So, break down all of that, because it sounds like a lot, and I don't know half of those things that you just said. I got the latter part. I think I got the latter part, but I'm assuming you're doing it because you started with civil, so I'm assuming you're focused much more on commercial and larger scale projects. It sounds like
we are focused more at the public agency level, so we do a lot of work for like the city of Austin. We're very regional. So a lot of the public agencies that feed the Austin area and out, so your Capital Metro, University of Texas at Austin, City of Austin is one of our biggest clients. We got county work where we'll be doing a lot of work within Travis County and Williamson County. So a little bit bigger in types of scale, but definitely more of the community design projects. So we look at your roadways, your sidewalks, your parks that you go to, all the things that help build the community that you live in.
Got it. So it's a much more master scale, like it's a much more macro scale. Okay, got it. Yeah. Because I was like, I need some landscaping help. Can you help? It's like,
You won't like the price tag.
Yeah, sure, we could do it. It's just going to cost you a lot. That's right. I love it. And then talk to me about the beginning part of what you said. So you said you're the senior vice president of what department? And then you also said you were a shareholder. So that's very interesting. I want to know about both of those things.
Sure. So we're a privately held firm. We're currently about 70 people. So our CEO is my business partner. So I'm number 2 in command, and I serve basically at the firm level of the organization. So I oversee a lot more of the people side of the business. So things that help with the operations, making sure we have IT, that our CAD standards and how they deliver a design project is working top notch and those standards are correct. I oversee our administration, our marketing, and our business development as well, and all of HR.
Wait, you just listed everything. What does the CEO do? I don't understand. I'm teasing.
We're a design services firm, so there's the whole project side of the business that actually makes money.
Delivery.
I'm on the side of the business that spends the money.
Got it. So you're managing like the operations and the business operations, and he does the actual function of the business. Like he's the... She does. Oh, great. That's amazing.
We are a woman-owned firm.
Oh, real? Fully?
Fully. Well, we have some minor shareholders that are men, but the two of us make the majority of the shareholders.
Oh my gosh, I love it. That's fantastic. Holy cow, that's amazing. As a girl dad, I love to hear that. Yeah, that's fantastic.
Oh,
yeah. Can you walk me through how you started this? Like, how'd you get into this? And then how'd you become, into this business and this industry? And what did that look like? What was that journey like?
Sure. It was a long journey. So I've been with the firm for over 23 years now. This is my second tour. So there's a little bit of a story there. But the firm itself has been in business since 1980. So MWM are now all the retired and one of them deceased principals that started the firm. They were all male. But as they started their transition plan, Julia came in as president, bought those shares, and then I came in after that.
Wow. So it's like almost like a second chapter of this organization.
It truly is. It's not only just in the transition of who's running the company, but absolutely the culture of the company has shifted quite a bit. We always had people would say it feels like family, like a family-oriented business. So that's always been part of our values, but Julia and I have really taken it to the next level.
And then was Joya also, great name by the way, Joya, that sounds really cool. Does Joya and you like coming in at the same time? Was she also part of the firm previously at the former guard? Or like how did that I gotta know, like what made it so that you guys took over? Like did you guys buy from their family? Did they retire? And then like what is that?
Sure. So Julia started, I think it was 3 or so years before I did, maybe 4. She actually hired me in 1996.
Oh, wow.
So her and I have had a very long working history together as peers and collaborators. But she bought shares from our president. And then once she became, so she's actually a licensed civil engineer, by the way.
Yeah.
So she's a practicing engineer. Not so much now at the CEO level, but she was. she rose up through the firm. But she started as a CAD tech. So came out of graduate. She came out of architecture school at MIT, and then went to grad school to get her civil engineering degree, and made it all the way to CEO. So when she hired me on at 96, I came in as an assistant bookkeeper, worked my way up into marketing and business development, took a break to have the children, came back to the industry and went to work for a national architecture firm before I made it back to MWM.
Wait, so when you did your other stint, you still went to another architecture firm?
I did.
Oh, wow. You really love it.
I wanted a different experience. I spent 14 years at the company, and like I said, there's been a culture shift, and so I wanted to experience something.
Well, yeah, it sounds like you kind of grew up there, and so you definitely wanted a different experience, but you still stayed in the architecture industry.
I did.
So you have niche experience. So you're very deep. You're very deep into the niche. That's an amazing story. So can you don't have to answer, but I'm really curious as to why you bought in. So like,
sure.
Because it's like, I guess the biggest question, if I could just be fully candid here, is why not start your own name and brand? Why buy into someone else's? Why not? Joya's a great name, and Debbie's an awesome name. Just curious. So just out of just curious. Yeah.
Yeah. So when so I left the company in 2009. It actually was about 2010 because I had my daughter Deborah. I have 2 stepchildren prior to that, so I had already been a STOM. We call it STOM, stepmom. I'd already been a STOM for a few years, and when I had my daughter, I was 39, deep into this career at MWM, but it was something that she got sick at daycare, and I decided to stay home. Yeah. So it was a different career. I wasn't sure how that was going to play out, but I absolutely fell in love with it. So I stayed home for about 4 years before going back to work. I had my son Travis in that time, and I highly encourage anybody that can do it to do it. So after 4 years being at home, being babyfied, slobber, all the things with babies, I didn't have the self-confidence to do something like that. I was encouraged to start my own consulting firm in marketing and business development for the architecture and engineering industry, but I didn't have the confidence to do that at the time.
Yeah, that's totally fair. And in hindsight, I think that you probably made the right decision.
I did.
Yeah. I mean, hindsight's 2020, but it sounds like you already know that, so that's great too. But even without you even validating that you knew that, I could probably tell you, statistically speaking, it's much easier to buy an existing business and optimize it than it is to build something new. I'm learning that the hard way right now. Like with my full service business, I'm like, I should have just bought something and optimized it. It's like way over budget. I had like this amount of money set up, and I'm like, oh yeah, and then it's like I've already like exceeded that like so badly. Oh yeah, so I'm learning very quickly that you got to really figure out very quickly quickly, what kind of risk factor do you want, and are you doing it for ego or are you doing it for lifestyle, right? And it sounds like you chose it for lifestyle and you got exactly what you wanted, which is really great.
When I went back, I told my business partners, like, this is something I really want. I've invested so much of my time and personal experience at the firm that I felt part of it. So I really wanted to continue what that looked like as a legacy.
That's awesome. And then I do have to ask, because it is a Girl Dad show, so do you mind sharing a little bit about your kids? You alluded to them, but yeah, share with the listeners how many kids you have, how old they are, and whatever else you want to share about them.
Absolutely. I am a very proud mother of 4 children. I am stepmom, to 2 of them. They are 26 and 24. Theodore, who is our oldest, just graduated from UT Austin with 2 master's degrees.
Congratulations.
Super proud of him.
Super proud. Yeah.
Yeah, he's done tons of internships in Eastern Europe. That's kind of where his area of study is. And so we're just waiting for him to get a call on some of the interviews that he's been doing for the federal government.
Wow. Yeah, that's an incredible feat. Yeah, that's amazing. And I didn't realize I didn't realize you had adult children. That's really cool. Yeah. I guess we should tell the listeners that you live like 9 houses down from me. That you're also my neighbor. I didn't even start with that. I know. Hey, can you hear me from over there? So funny.
Yeah. That's our oldest child.
Yeah.
And then Matthew is our creative child, and he's 24. And he has his degree in 2D animation. He is an avid artist, and he's currently doing his stint at Starbucks, and he's been there for a couple of years now, and he absolutely loves it. He has his own sense of style, which I greatly appreciate.
Yeah.
You never know what he's going to look like walking through the door.
I love it. So he's your bohemian. He's your I love it. That's awesome.
Right now he's sporting the long hair, the long beard, wears Kirby jackets, and I mean, you just never know. It's amazing and so much fun.
Does he want to pursue 2D animation, or is that something that he does? Okay, cool. We could talk later. My little brother is he started in animation.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, so he's at Roblox now, but I can at least
Oh my gosh, I would love that.
Yeah, but keep going. I want to know more. This is fun, yeah.
Okay, Deborah is our middle child. She's our 13-year-old, my first born child, and she is spunky, is amazing, loving, just insane. I don't know. She's just out there,
If I could be so candid, I feel like she's the kid version of you. Yeah, I'm like, oh yeah, that's Debbie's kid. Yeah, exactly. Whenever I see in their community, I'm like, there's Debbie's kid.
I mean, everybody calls her Little Debbie, and she's just like,
She doesn't like it. Okay.
Or she'll do this. She'll do like this.
That's funny. It's the age.
It is. It's been so much fun. It has not been challenging yet. So I'm kind of bracing myself and getting ready for the teenage years, seeing how that's gonna work itself out. But I'm prepared. I'm good.
Nice.
And then there's Travis. He's 11. He is a very sincere soul. He just loves everybody and makes everybody know that they're loved and valued. He's just so compassionate. He's just, is just a sweetheart. So
that's awesome.
Yeah,
this is so much information. I only knew about your 2 kids, so this is incredible. I love it. So much breadth. So much more things to learn about you. It's like, you're like a little enigma hidden in like a ball of energy. Let's go deeper. What was your childhood like? How did you grow up?
It was amazing. When I think about what I was like, at Travis 11, Deborah 13, And then, my older children, like when I put myself and look back in that perspective, I was extremely happy. It was a beautiful childhood. It was family focused. It was spiritual. We were very emotional together, so lots of love. But I was also surrounded by 3 brothers, 2 of which loved to try to beat me up. So, kind of, made me a little more spunky. But my dad was an extremely huge influence in my life. So he's no longer with us.
Oh,
But it was
sorry
a
to hear
great childhood. Lots of outdoors. We are born and raised in Austin, by the way. So we have explored this city up and down its outskirts in every way, every which way form, on quad runners, in a boat. Like, we've done it all as a family.
And you've seen the tremendous growth then, because you're second generation. Yeah, you're seeing all of it. That's amazing. I love that. So how do you think that that's impacted some of your decisions that you made? Has your father influenced your entrepreneurial spirit? Where did that come from?
Sure. My father worked for Leif Johnson Ford and just the Ford family in general for like 40 years before he retired. His sense of loyalty was definitely something that impacted me with wanting to continue with MWM. I think that was something that was passed through. Also, some of his sense of morality and how we treat people definitely impacted me in the role that I play now with our employees. But his sense of drive and always wanting to be the best. And he always told me, you can be anything you want. You can do it better than anybody else. Just do it. He never held me back. And in fact, always challenged me to be more than my brothers as men.
Oh, wow.
It was a lot to lay on a little girl, but I did it.
He explicitly said that.
Every time he could.
Oh, that's amazing. I like that.
I never felt like I was anything less than amazing.
That's amazing. And he actually encouraged you not only to be as good, but to be better. He's like, no, you should beat them.
Yeah. I played a lot of sports growing up, played a lot of softball.
That's hilarious.
I tried out for the basketball team. Just for you viewers out there, I'm not quite 5 foot. But I did play volleyball on the high school team. Like, I would do anything I could, and he would just encourage me, go.
Yeah.
My mother was also a huge cheerleader, attended every single one of my softball games. So my dad was like, I expect you to go out on that field and be the best player today. You're going to be MVP. You got this. Like, all the time.
It's awesome. And then how does that impacted you with your kids? Because it sounds like you've had a different set, like you have a merged family, but you also have you have like 2 chapters in your family build here. So how has that impacted that?
So, one of the things that my dad told me very early on as I started to date Pete, and he could see that we were going to be together long term, is he said, I expect you to be the best stepmother anybody can be. And I promised him that I would. So I treated them with respect. As a stepmother, I loved them as a mother as much as I could. I tried not to have a barrier of, well, I'm not your mom, or I'm not your mom, or attitude or anything. It was very much we're people, and let's love, and let's encourage each other, and let's just be together as a family. So in terms of how that affected them, they come to my house all the time. They don't knock. They just walk in. Yeah. Hey, Dom, my oldest is interning at my company right now while he's waiting for the call for a job. I mean, we play video games together. We swim together. It is a family unit, and I wouldn't want it any other way. But I don't know that I would have just done that on my own had my dad not encouraged me to see, you can do this. You can be a great stepmom.
And just have that mindset going into it.
Oh, yeah.
Man, He really was an impact on you. He had like a huge influence.
amazing person. At his funeral, there were people coming out the building. They couldn't hold everybody. It was amazing. He was an amazing human being.
Wow, that's an incredible story, and what a great thing to say. You know, like that's like
Oh yeah.
not traditional or normal, you know, in any way.
Sure.
And so it's such a unique man to see the world in such a beautiful light. It's very,
Oh
very
yeah.
insightful and thoughtful, and it sounds like it's rippled effect into amazing family for you, and you've been able to
Yeah.
navigate this without having to like have many trials and tribulations.
They were great kids growing up.
Yeah.
No issues. I think Theodore, our oldest, and I maybe had a small tiff once.
Yeah.
Like, and then Matthew and I, same thing once. Like, it's not something that we all wanted to do. We would have rather just have fun and love each other.
It's awesome.
But yeah. And then one of the things that my father was so great at was letting me be an individual as well. So
Yeah.
I was the punk rock kid in the 80s. So my mother was like, "Oh my God, you're killing me," and my dad was, "Let her do it. Who cares? Nobody cares." And so now when I look at my children, I'm like, just be yourself. That has been a huge impact for me as a parent. Is I don't really care. Be yourself.
You need to send me photos. You need to send my team photos of you in your punk rock stage so I could like B-roll to your image. And then I'm gonna put pictures of your daughter now because I'm almost positive with her colored hair slashed over her face, it's gonna look exactly the same. Yeah, it's gonna be so funny. But yeah, please send those over so I can B-roll it over that part that you just said. I do want to ask though, because you have both adult kids and younger kids, what do they think about what you do for a living? Do they understand? Do they understand how cool that is and how unique that is? Do they understand that, like, because I can only assume how much you're working with 70 employees. I'm obviously assuming. Maybe you don't work at all. I don't know. You do swim a lot, so I don't know. Yeah.
I do ask my executive coach that every once in a while. I'm like, when does the golfing start? I just want that.
Yeah. Aren't we supposed to be like golfing and stuff as executives and owners?
What? That happens, right? Anyhow, yeah. Well, my Theodore, our oldest, definitely gets it, you know, and Matthew, I think, kind of gets it. Deborah's now kind of understanding the impact that I have on our household, our livelihood, what that looks like.
Right.
And when last night I came home at 9 o'clock last night. So things like that, she's kind of putting that relevance together. But Travis, maybe not so much. He kind of sees it as I hear people talking about mom and her business, and I don't even know if he knows the name of the company.
He's oblivious right now. He's in his zone. Yeah. Okay. Got it. So you're full mom for him as of right now.
Oh, yeah.
Deborah's starting to understand that you're mom and also an executive and business owner.
Yes.
Like, got it. Okay.
Yeah. It's interesting. I heard him say the other day, he's like, yeah, I think I might want to work for mom's company. And it's like, okay.
Do you know what I do? Do you know what we do?
No, he doesn't. He has no clue.
Do any of them? I know you said one of your older kids is going to intern right now, but do any of them have any aspirations to join the family business? Oh, no. Okay. And then do any of them aspirations to start a business? This episode of The Girl Dad Show is brought to you by Owners Club. As a business owner myself, I know firsthand how challenging the journey can be. Whether it's having someone that I can ask a very tactical question to, or just being able to share my big successes without guilt. Building a business is a lonely journey, and it does not have to be. After building and coaching dozens of businesses to success, there is one insight that is so obvious and simple, yet hard to execute. And that is network equals net worth. And so if you're a growth-minded, supportive, smart, and hardworking business owner looking for a community of like-minded entrepreneurs to build with, look no further than the Owners Club. You will make lifelong friends and build your business that works for you. You can learn more online at owners.club.
I haven't heard of it. I haven't heard them speak of that. Deborah wants to be a therapist or some kind of psychiatry, because she deals with some anxiety issues herself, and that she's seen a therapist, that she sees the benefit of that. So that's something that's very near and dear to her heart, that I think she might following that path. But I don't think so. I tried to get Matthew a job at my company. When he was doing his 2D classes, they had the opportunity to do AutoCAD classes.
Yeah.
So we have, we probably have 10 or 15 CAD drafters and or designers. And I said, if you just take this set of classes, you can always come work for Mama.
That's right. That's right. Very transferable skill. Is he not interested in the 3D part of it, or is he not interested in working for the mom? Well, we don't know.
None of the above. I have no clue. I'm just like, okay, that's fine.
I've been really percolating on this idea of maybe in season 4 interviewing the cast that have adult kids, but interviewing their adult kids. Yeah, and literally being like, hey, here's your parents' interview. Go watch it, and I'm going to interview you next week. And so, yeah, I may actually call you and say, hey, I'm actually doing that thing that I told you about, so I want to interview them.
That is amazing. I would love that for them.
Oh, that's funny. Let me ask you another question. So no inclinations for working for you, and no inclinations for starting a business, and then obviously younger ones are still figuring it out. But what do you want from them? What does success look like for you for your kids?
Oh wow. Honestly, it's I want their happiness. I want them to do something that fulfills their soul. That they're not, I don't want them to have that struggle of, damn, I gotta go to work today. Oh, it's Monday. I don't want that for them. I want them to feel that joy of, I get to go create this thing, or I get to go work on this project, or I get to go influence this set of people, or I get to, design something for the betterment of life, right? Just all of those things that really give them the energy and the aspirations to be better, right? So that's how I go to work every day. It's like, oh yeah, I get to go do that today, and it's exciting. If I ever feel like I'm not going to be this ball of energy, I don't want to do it today. I'll even postpone my day and say, I can't give everybody my best today, but I can do it tomorrow. And I'll just reschedule. But I want them to be able to be their best and be happy doing it.
So you don't care what they do. You care that they're excited about it and they're happy about it.
Absolutely. The educational degrees, the just all the things that society puts on us, I don't want my children to have that. If my daughter decides she doesn't want to be a therapist, doesn't want to go to a 4-year degree school, and wants to start working with a brother at Starbucks, y'all have fun. If it brings you joy to make the latte with the whipped cream, do it up.
Yeah. Just love it.
Love it.
Yeah.
Make it the most beautiful swirl of whipped cream.
I love that. That's amazing.
Oh, yeah.
That's great.
I don't need success the way I've had success. And in fact, my mother also lives with us, just so you know.
I did not know that. Yeah, that's interesting.
When my dad died 10 years ago, she came to live with us. So she's very proud of me. She's very proud of my success. She's very proud of my childhood. And so when she gets the opportunity to tell Deborah about, oh, your mom did this, and your mom was great at this, and she used to do triathlons, and she used to run around those softball bases, and she was always number 1. And I look at Deborah and I was like, that's great, Mom. Thank you for sharing. Deborah, not my expectation for you. I just want you to be you.
Wow.
And she'll look at me and she'll smile, because I don't need her to be a Debbie. I don't need her to be an executive. I don't need her to be the best at everything. I need her to be the best at Deborah. That's what I want.
It's amazing that you're able to see that and point that out. So you put a lot of thought into parenting. That's really good because that's your mom. Yeah. So, because how does that make your mom feel when you do that? Because now she's like, oh, am I? You know what I mean? Am I overreaching? Right? Like.
She's 80. She's like, later queen bee here.
I don't care. Yeah. She's like, I'm gonna brag about my daughter if I want to brag about my daughter. I love it. Okay, great. I got the dynamic.
She's like, okay. Yeah, she'll kind of, get what I'm trying to say and like, yeah, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. But she keeps going. She's like, yeah.
No, we used to call her the road runner running around those bases.
Yeah, and how does the dynamic? How did the kids like having grandma in the house, and how was that like transition? Everyone's happy, everyone's good. What was any troubles with that?
I think that there are certain cultures that's part of what they expect.
Yeah.
Right. It wasn't necessarily something I was expecting.
Yeah.
I never thought that my dad had that expectation of me. But she is so happy with us. She doesn't want to be anywhere else. She's tried it. We respect her. She gets to just do her own thing.
Yeah.
And the family's just worked around it. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. Does it annoy me? Absolutely 100% some days.
Yeah, totally.
But it's the good work. Like, if my father somehow can see or know or whatever in his spirit that his daughter is taking care of his beautiful wife that he had for 52 years, then it's worth it.
It's amazing.
I wouldn't give it up. I would do it again.
Yeah, and I love that you brought up the cultural aspect of it as well too, because my culture is such that that's also very normal. Actually, it's not even something that you would not necessarily. And it's like, oh, should we do this or not do that? It's just like kind of like obviously you should do that, right? Like if your grandpa or your grandma dies, you would basically adopt your parent, right? Because there's like a dove syndrome. If they don't have community, and then the other ones start to, they'll start to. They'll basically pass away faster. It's kind of like the cultural norm of it, right? And so you bring them into your community, and then you basically adopt your parents. It's kind of like a normal culture.
It is an adoption.
Yeah. Yeah. So
there's definitely a flip of parenthood happening at this point, right? With the parenting of mom, did you take your medication? How are you feeling today?
Right.
When is your doctor appointment? Can you get yourself there? Tell me what he said or what she said. It's different. You flip the script for sure.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Yeah, I think that's fascinating that you have these 3 generations in one household, and you're also navigating not only parenting and building a family and a business, you're also navigating a lot of complexity. This is super fun, but it sounds like overall it's really great. You like those troubles that come with it. It's all like part of it.
I have no complaints. Like, I feel very blessed that I have the life that I have. Have a loving husband, and we also have 2 cats and a dog that's 100%.
I've seen them walk by, yeah.
So, like, I mean, I just, it feels full. Life feels full. Life feels like it's supposed to be what it's supposed to be at this point. So
it's amazing. And so, if I had to ask you point blank,
sure.
What does success look like for you as a business owner? Like, what are you looking to qualify that as success, or have you hit it? Are you at the apex, or is there more?
I worked my ass off to be a partner. Climbing that mountain was hard. I don't have a 4-year degree, and just putting myself into it 100% every day for years. When that happened and I hit that milestone, it was like crickets. It was like, what's happening? What do I do now? Like, where do I go? I made it. Hello.
It's like anticlimactic. You're like, where's the balloons? Where's the parachuting guy with the champagne? Like, where? Yeah.
Where's the golf?
Yeah. Yeah, like where's the confetti? I thought there were gonna be like fireworks and like golfing and stuff, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I was
funny.
so used to climbing the ladder so hard that when I got to the top of the ladder, it took about a year of really trying to find myself and defining what success meant then.
Yeah.
You know, it was hard. It was hard for me. I didn't have an executive coach at the time either to help me through that. So I think that what success looks like now is it really, and this might sound stupid cheesy, it really is that this face and this philosophy gets put on the legacy of the company. Like when I leave and I, retire, that there's the Debbie years and how it was upward, it was happy, it was good, fun, it was engaging, there was connectivity, and that however many years down the road when I'm gone, people look at that part of the company and they go, that was Debbie's era.
Oh wow.
So it's not about money. It's not about, a title at this point. It's just really the legacy. And a good one, not a bad one.
I love that. That's a really great way of qualifying business success. That's really, really fascinating. You're at the point where you described, you visualized, you did all the things. You visualized, you got specific about what success looked like for you. You literally described your top rung. You got there, and then you looked around, and then you're like, what the heck? What is it? And then you found yourself, and now you're at the point where you're like, hey, all I want to do now is just like make sure that this is imprinted and as amazing as possible for all the people around me.
Yes.
That's awesome. That's really
Thank you.
cool. Very, very cool. I love that. Let me jump into some rapid fire questions. I like to keep some symmetry to all my interviews, and so I like to ask the same questions to every guest, just to make sure that I get what I want out of it. Is basically what it is. This is really one big experiment for me to learn how to be a better parent, right? So let me start off by saying, what advice do you have for other parents and soon-to-be parents?
Ooh. If you have the ability to stay home for a certain amount of time with your children after they're born, take advantage of it. I had the opportunity to stay home with my children for 4 years and to watch them develop into movable human beings and talking. It's the most amazing job you'll ever do in your life.
It's amazing advice. Yeah, I feel like we're not as good about that these days, and it's become more normal not to be, and it's like strange. But that's really good advice. I love that. Okay, if you can go back and tell yourself one thing before having kids, and this could even be before you were a STOM, right? Like one thing before even being a STOM, what would you tell yourself?
Have kids before you're 39.
What are you waiting for? Hurry up. Oh, that's so funny.
I'm
really
53 with an 11-year-old. It's a lot of work.
Oh, wow. I had no idea. You look great. I love it. Yeah, good for you. You have.
It's a lot of work having your kids later.
It is a lot of work. It is. Yeah. That's really good advice. And I actually think that's actually really sage advice, because I don't think people realize that there's really never a good time for it. And you just got to do it. Just do it, and the world will work around it.
You're never going to be prepared monetarily. Your body is always going to be primed and ready, younger, late 20s, early 30s. Go for it. Like, don't wait. Just do it. That's exactly what I would tell myself. Like, don't worry about all the other stuff. You can handle it. Your body's primed for it.
Yeah, that's really good information for me, not just for other people, because we're kind of on the same track as you. I'm 43, and we had our kids late, so we're kind of on the same track. And so I completely agree with that. And like, in hindsight, I wish I told myself that too. I was waiting for more money. Like,
Yeah,
it was so
yeah.
stupid. Or career, actually, I should say, because it's not just money. It was also like,
Both of those things.
yeah, and it was so stupid in hindsight. It's
Yeah,
like,
I would have had like a football team if I could have.
Yeah.
When I look back, like, oh my God, I would have loved a house full of children.
I just Sorry, I'm a little slow. It's in the afternoon. I'm like, what do you mean a football
And
team?
like, oh yeah,
I got what you meant. Sorry.
Baseball team and catcher, pitcher, first base. I'd have been like, I can take it all with just my children.
Oh my God, that would have been so funny. I love it. Very good, very good. All right, next question. What is the most surprising thing that you've learned about yourself after becoming a parent?
Oh wow. The amount of patience I have.
Yeah, yeah. You didn't expect that.
A lot of patience for my children, and I've never been a patient person. I'm very much a go get it, do it, let's go, people. Like, and why isn't this happening as fast as I want it to happen? I have the biggest level of patience for my children. I don't know why, but it's great for them and for me. I can look at something, and especially like clean, pick up after yourself, clean up your room, all those things that we're always nagging our children about. I'm like, hey guy, maybe pick that up, and yeah, I'll get to it. And then a day later, I'm like, I'm not going to pick it up because we need to learn a lesson. Mm-hmm. Like, you might want to go ahead and do that, and I can go and I can continue to be patient. And then I let them know, listen, I've done this enough. We've talked about this enough. I'm about to now lose my patience. And then people go, oh, we know what that looks like, and it's taken her a while, so they'll do it. But I don't know,
I think that you have a very, from an external factor, like just because we're neighbors and I get to see you, so I have an unfair advantage against the listeners here. But I definitely think that you have a very loving energy. It's very joyous. It's very loud. It's very giving and gregarious and fun, right? And I definitely think that it's surprising to hear that you're patient with the kids. Because I definitely know you're all business too. Like,
yeah, I know.
Yeah. That's fascinating. That's so interesting.
Everybody's really surprised by that. My business partner Joya, she's like, I'm surprised you're this patient with them.
Yeah. Why aren't you this patient with me? She's probably. That's hilarious.
I want a fun childhood for them, and me nagging all the time just doesn't really make it that. So,
Yeah, good. Let me ask the next one. So, business book. This is my favorite question because I've been collecting reading books from everybody. But do you have a favorite business book? Or a favorite?
I don't know that I have a favorite.
Yeah.
But I just finished Dare to Lead by Brene Brown. And I just had to do a book discussion group with women in business in Liberty Hill Chamber. And the discussions that came out of that book were amazing. And just hearing so many women's perspectives on how to be a better leader and it's so funny, how to bring emotion into the workplace and basically be yourself. So I highly suggest it. I highly think that it works very well in a business, and it was fun because as I was going through, like, oh yeah, we do that. Oh yeah, we're like that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's like the validation, right? It's like, yes.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah. I love that. Yeah, I'll check that book out. Okay, and then to bring us home, when you're not building this amazingly connected and legacy-driven civil engineering and design business, and being a super mom to 4 amazing kids with 3 generations in one family, what does Debbie do for fun? What's your downtime activities? What do you do for yourself?
I'm an avid video gamer.
Are you serious?
I am an avid video gamer.
No way.
I have played video games since the Atari came out in the 80s. I'm an 80s kid. I was born in 70s, so when it all came out, I was like, oh my God, it's amazing, right? And I have played video games my entire life.
Wow.
That is how I met my husband. Is he used to be a video game designer for some of the biggest video game companies out there, and that's how we met. So.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. I was not expecting that at all. What games do you play? Do you have time to play any games now, or?
We play at night, after I get home, and we feed the kids and we give them the lovin', and it's like, okay, mom and dad are gonna play video games. Well, they're going to play their video games too. We are a house of video games, so all of our children play.
Oh, wow.
When our oldest was in Poland recently for 9 months doing an internship, that's how we stayed connected. Is we would play during our lunch hour with him, so we could talk and be together.
Oh, wow. That's so surprising. I had no idea. I love to hear that because I love video games. So yes, let's definitely talk about that. That's super fun.
Yeah, we're playing one right now that's keeping me up late and gives me circles under the eyes in the morning.
Oh, you're like a gamer. I like it. Oh yeah, you're like losing sleep over it. I love it.
Yes.
Oh wow, Debbie, I had no idea. That's fantastic. Well, I appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to meet with me, and I can't thank you enough for just the amazing stories and the life lessons that you've just shared with me and also the listeners. And I hope you had a lot of fun, and I can't wait to see you in the neighborhood and share some of these stories that I've learned about you.
Great, yeah. Let's talk about games when you come by.
I will, sounds good. We'll talk to you soon, okay, Debbie?
All right, young.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you again for listening to Girl Dad Show. To help our show grow, please let us know who we should interview next by filling out the form on our website or commenting below.